Sample rate is a pretty highly debated topic when it comes to music production. If you're not familiar with sample rate, it's basically the amount of times per second that the computer basically marks where the waveform is, right? So like if I zoom in on this waveform, these, I think if I zoom in really here, yeah, um, these are a bunch of samples. It basically takes the waveform at each individual point and maps out the volume. And that's how digital audio works, right? The majority of digital music until recently has been shipped at 44.1 kilohertz, which is the sample rate on CDs. That is CD quality, and most people can't hear a difference between 441 and higher. You can argue about things like oversampling or other ways that plugins behave, but I'm strictly talking about the final export here. As per the Nyquist theorem, at 441, the highest frequency audio that can be captured is about 22 kilohertz, which is just at the top of human hearing. Typically, your average person and most producers probably won't be able to hear any higher than that or hear the difference between different sample rates. So, why do I waste all this space on my storage devices exporting at higher sample rates? Well, I'm going to show you why. Basically, a lot of my workflow involves resampling older songs that I've done. I like to reduce, reuse, recycle, that kind of thing, right? So I'm going to give you an example here with this beat. There's a lot of high end going on, right? So I'm going to export a bit of this. I'm just going to go File, Export Audio, and I'm going to do stems just because. And then I'm going to do it at 96 kilohertz. That is my current sample rate. Bitwig is a little bit weird. You can only choose 441 or 48 on the export or your current, but my current is set to 96. And then I'm going to make a new folder on my desktop here. Make a folder for 96K. I'm going to let it do its thing. And then we're going to export again at 441. Okay, so going back to that Nyquist theorem, basically, the higher the sample rate, the higher frequency content there can be. Now, that can be outside of our human hearing, right? But when we re-import samples to manipulate them or time stretch them or pitch them down, that high frequency information that we might not have heard before can become audible to the human ear. So I'm going to make a new project here. I'm just going to delete these. We're going to open our folder here. I'm going to drag 441 in first. Just gonna get these going. We'll sync them. And then I want them to be on repitch mode. This basically just means as the sample gets stretched out, the pitch lowers and stuff like that. So the original project is 152. So I'm going to put this at about 75, so roughly half speed, right? It sounds like slowed down music, right? I'm going to call this 441. So let's try 96, and I want you to hear the difference. Bring these in, group them, make sure they're on restretch or repitch. So here's that first one again. I'm going to start it over here. Now here's 96. There's just so much more information to work with. And so you can do all kinds of crazy stretching things. Different work algorithms will have more information to deal with and do their whatevers with. I don't entirely know how they work, But this is why I export at such high sample rates, because I love resampling things and just having as much information for the program to work with as possible. So yeah, there you go.